In this video, I'm going to speak about the upgraded throat chakra. Obviously, as our consciousness is expanding, our frequency is changing, the frequency of our energy body, of our chakras, is changing also. And I'm particularly drawn to the changes that are happening with the throat chakra. And this is a little bit because of my history, which I'll go into here, but also because especially in females, this is a throat chakra that has been closed down significantly. It has in everyone, but because of the patriarchal system, it has been significantly closed down in females. And we have all been females at some time in the last, 1,000, 2,000 years. And so I want to talk about and explore how this is changing, why the frequency of this is changing, and what it's preparing us for as we co-create New Earth together. So it's an exploration. It's actually been going round and round in my mind, this topic, for the last 6 weeks or so. And I've even started to make a couple of videos, and I started one last week and then found out I wasn't recording. I was on the beach, it was windy, and I thought, oh, it's not working. So it's like it keeps getting put on hold, but another piece comes in each time. And so last week when that happened, afterwards I had a call with my membership, the Temple of the Rose, and the oracle who came in, the Roseline Oracle, that wanted to share and guide that particular call was Nefertiti, who was a priestess of sacred sound. And she shared so much about our connection between our sacral chakra and our throat chakra. And so that was just another little piece came in. And then the same thing has happened this week. And I feel like the piece that came in this week was like, okay, that is the final piece. You are ready to make this video. The foundation's been laid. I'm ready to talk with you about this topic, which is so dear to my heart. Before I begin, welcome to my channel. I'm Jacqueline Atkins, and I am a channel of the Rose Line. And I am really passionate about the throat chakra. And it's actually quite interesting about this because the throat chakra is our creative expression, and obviously having a channel like this on YouTube is a part of my creative expression. I made a choice about a couple of months ago to no longer run ads during my videos because I found the energy disruptive to the actual energy of the videos. Anyway, I have since discovered that the algorithm doesn't like the fact that I am no longer allowing ads because YouTube's not making any money. And so as a result, my reach has significantly decreased since I've done that. And my mind went into, oh, you were doing this with the right intentions, perhaps put the ads back on, but just have them at the beginning. And then I sat with it and I thought about the energy of my business. I used to teach a lot about the energy of business. And I thought it's not in alignment for me to have those ads on my videos. And also I fully trust in magnetism and in attracting the people who are drawn to my message, are drawn to what I have to say. And it's about the quality rather than the quantity at the end of the day. And on YouTube, this quantity can be such a thing. I've reached 5,000, I've reached 1,000. But are they engaged? Are they truly drawn and contributing to the energy of the channel? Sure, in some cases they are, but it is about the quality. And so after sitting with it, I have decided that my voice will be heard by whoever is meant to hear my voice. And I don't require the small monetary compensation that YouTube gives. And however, I do appreciate your support in other ways. And if you enjoy any of my videos, it really helps by liking them, or you can share them with someone you think may be interested or on your social media. And so this can replace the algorithm. There is another algorithm, and it's the algorithm of community. And so I'm choosing to sit with the algorithm of community. So I appreciate your support in that. And if you ever feel to donate anything at all, I do have a link below for a PayPal contribution if you feel to. However, for me, this is about, I'm using my voice in this way because this is about attracting my Roseline sisters to me. Sisters and brothers. I recognize that there are Roseline brothers also watch my videos. And this has been my calling for the last 2 years in particular. It's like I want to regather the roses together. And so any support that you can give through sharing, liking, and so on, I really, really appreciate. That was a little aside, but it was to do with the throat chakra. So that leads me into my history with the throat chakra. In fact, my history with the throat chakra, like all of us, but with it being such an important chakra for me, it began when I was born because I chose to be born a Taurus. And Taurus governs the throat, a Taurus sun. And Taurus governs the throat. And so interesting for me, I am really healthy. I'm 58. I am so healthy. But if I ever get anything, like any sort of little health niggle, it's here. And it's not so much throat as in sore throats. It is my neck. My neck goes into spasm and I end up with headaches. So that is my vulnerable point. When I push myself too hard, I end up with headaches that come from my neck. So it actually is my vulnerable point. But it's also like my spokesperson. It tells me when I'm out of alignment. And I'm sure we all have those body parts that do it. For me, it is the throat. And then, as you will have heard me talk about before, if you've watched any of my videos, especially talking about my past, I did become a sound healer through, from about 2006, I think, 2005. I began using sound as part of my, I was doing energy healing then, pranic healing. And I started to use sound even though I had a belief that I couldn't sing because I was told I couldn't sing. And even when I had the main role in productions at school, because I used to act, they very rarely let me actually sing on my own. So it was quite a strong belief that I had. But despite that, I did become a sound healer using my voice at a time when there was no sound healers much around. There was not really any sort of training, and I wouldn't have done the training anyway. I tend to just do my own thing. But that became a big part of me. And the more I used the sound in my sessions, it actually, because of course the frequency of sound, it clears the energy. And so that's what opened up my clairvoyance, clairaudience, and so on, my clairs. And so the throat has been a big part of my journey. And then when I decided to create an online business in 2017, so I just turned 50, I just finished doing an intuitive coaching course, and I wanted to work online because I was living between England, where my partner was, and Australia. And I began just coaching, and then I started to incorporate my energy work. And I worked with a coach called Tash Corbin, an Australian business coach, and she really helped me in getting my business started, getting it off the ground, and in her takeoff program, of course. And Tash had a huge Facebook group, which I think she still does, of heart-centered entrepreneurs. And so in that space, I learned to use my voice to talk about what I offered, but what I discovered, because these were all female entrepreneurs, and almost all of them that I spoke to had a fear of sharing who they were, what their gifts were, what their offer was, how much they were charging. Like, it was all of them. When I put out a survey once, every single person who did that survey identified the throat chakra. They might have identified others, but they said they knew they had blocks in the throat chakra. So I knew it was a big thing. So it was some pretty good market research on my part, because then I focused on the throat chakra. And even many of the ladies who are in my group today originally met me through that, because I used to do free 15-minute throat chakra sessions where I would look at their throat chakra and identify what was holding them back in their business now, which of course, if it's holding you back in your business, it's holding you back in your personal life as well. So the throat chakra was a really important part of me really getting my business off the ground. And I built up quite a big business around that and working with the energy body, not only of the entrepreneur, but also of the business. I used to read business energy, but always the throat chakra was a big part of that. And in the meantime, I was also learning about my throat chakra restrictions and about how I was able to show up and share my truth and share my beliefs and share my strengths and my gifts. It's a huge one. And if you've ever started a business, you'll fully resonate with what I'm saying. I think there's very few of us who come in really confident and able to articulate who we are and what we do. And so that I learned a lot through that journey. I learned a lot through my clients. And the rose line was always there for me through that. But I went into this focus up until 3 years ago when I said, okay, no, now I'm going into the rose line. And then gradually I'm returning to it and talking about that, which was quite an upgrade for my throat chakra, because even though it's something I had been very much, it was very much a part of my work in my earlier years, sort of my spiritual journey 20 years ago or so, I had shifted away a little bit when I had that focus in the business. And suddenly, after going to Provence that was in 2023, so it was only just over 2 years ago, taking a journey back to Provence, to Magdalene's beautiful land, this came back. And then I started to talk about the rose line again. But even that took a new level, because when I used to do it, YouTube wasn't around. I didn't have to talk in this way. It was all done through email or a newsletter or a blog. And so it was quite different having to speak about it. So I just wanted to give that little bit of history of my view of the throat chakra. So it's a really important chakra for me and for my business. And even now, even though I don't have that focus so much with my clients, it is still always there. And we are always still expanding and evolving. So now I want to get into why we are evolving. I mean, we're evolving generally, but why the throat chakra is important and how I think it is changing. Now, for me personally, I find on some of my videos, when I watch them back to edit, I look and go, what word is that you just said? What, like you're stumbling over your words, you're getting phrases mixed up. I never used to be like that. I was very articulate and the stumbling and bumbling didn't happen. And I'm noticing it is happening a lot more now. But I actually feel, I don't feel it's old age. I actually feel it is a part of the throat chakra upgrading and refining. And it's almost like a part of the energy now is we're getting rid of the fluff and really being precise and strong in what we say. And I've been observing people on YouTube who I watch regularly, and I've noticed that many of them are like that. They're straight to the point, they're very clear, their phrasing is succinct, and I feel like this is a part of this upgraded throat chakra. And you may be like me, for many years I have not been able to, I found it challenging to be around a lot of chit chat, just fluff, that's not about anything deep and important. And of course, there has to be a certain amount of superficial conversation in life, but I cannot sit, like I could not sit on a call to someone and just chit chat. Not for very long anyway. I would be saying, my mum used to always say on the phone, and used to use it with me, used to use it with everyone. When she'd had enough, she would always say, I'll let you go now. As though she was doing them a favor. And it was really her saying, I've had enough. So I've been feeling a bit like that lately. I'll let you go now. But I actually feel this is also a part of the refining of the throat chakra. And we will find that less words are necessary, and we will start to remove words. Like one that I've been aware of for me is the word just. How did that come into the conversation? I notice that when I type, if I'm writing a newsletter and I'm using just, and I'm like, that just isn't needed. It's almost like it's a justification, when it's used. And so often I'll go back and edit it and remove it, but it's a bit harder to do that when you're communicating verbally. But there are words like that, and like is another one that's certainly come around very strongly in the last 10 to 20 years. That is just an extra word that's not required. So I'm bringing this to your attention because with our evolution, the reason our throat is our creative expression. And the reason it's becoming more particular in that expression is because we are preparing and moving more into telepathy. And telepathy is an imprint of meaning. It's not me sending a sentence to you and you hearing that sentence. Maybe sometimes it happens that way, and certainly sometimes when I'm hearing clairaudiently from my guides, from the rose line, that's how it does come in a sentence. But at other times it is an imprint, and that imprint might have a visual and a smell and and then some word, and it doesn't really have words. I attach the words to it. And so I think this is also a part of us preparing. So the upgraded throat chakra, and you could even see it as the higher throat, is because the higher throat brings it closer to the third eye. And so it is preparing us for telepathy. And the other really important thing, which I'm very passionate about, is that we are the creators. Our sacral chakra is the center of creation. This is where we create from, and that creation is expressed through our throat chakra. And when I was talking about this to the Temple of the Rose community last week, and we were looking at those symbols, images of the cross-section of the female reproductive organs and of the throat chakra area, the larynx and so on. And they look very similar. So the cross-section of the throat looks very similar to the cross-section of the female reproductive organs. They are connected because the sacral chakra is the creative center. The throat chakra is the expression of that creativity, however that comes through, not just in words, in anything you create, in a business, in your art, in just anything, in your garden. It can be anything. So, but because we are creators and our life is our creation. Now we are co-creating New Earth. We all know that. So if we are co-creating New Earth and our throat chakra is our creative expression, what is being expressed through our throat chakra is what we are creating. Is that New Earth? Is there a lot of fluff coming out of your throat chakra that you really don't want to be a part of New Earth? Are there doubts? Are there fears? It's really important to be discerning. Now, we all know this, but I also believe, speaking for myself, I can never get reminded enough because I still fall into the patterns, still fall into the fears, into the lack, into the doubts. And when I give expression to that, wow, they are really amplified. With the frequencies now that are around us, they are amplified. So what are you creating through your throat chakra in the way you are creating your life right now? It's a really important thing to pay attention to. So there are two aspects of the throat chakra that are being upgraded. This upgrade into clear communication so that we can communicate telepathically. Because if we're not communicating clearly, we cannot share that telepathically. And also this remembering that we are the creators. We are co-creating this new earth through the expression that comes out of our throat chakra. So what are you creating? And while I'm on the topic of words, it's important to recognize consciously that words have a frequency, but some words have extra potency. So there are words like, if we look at my world of the Rose line and Mary, rose. Rose has a very powerful frequency and it is multi-layered. It means many things depending on the frequency of who's receiving it. Mary is another word that holds an incredible sacred geometry that means many things. Another word I was pondering the other day is priestess. And I was thinking about this because I used it in the title of my journey to Sardinia. I called it Priestess of the Sacred Waters. And I recognized that this word could be said to be being overused right now because it is around a lot. And I read something recently, a comment of someone's about, oh, everyone thinks they're a priestess now. This is a power word. This word unlocks codes within you. So actually using this word is a very positive thing. It's only overused if you have a really defined framework around what you think a priestess is. And that's a limited view. Many cultures where we look at females or even males who call themselves priests, but females, and we say they walked a priestess path. Many of those cultures didn't speak English. So the word would not have been priestess. They would have been called something else. I mean, I have my Pythia next to me, the Oracle of Delphi. So I felt she was important for the throat chakra. You know, the Pythia, perhaps that was the title used instead of priestess. So there's different words that were used in different cultures. In English, we're using priestess, but the codes are still held in that word. And those codes activate, and they're going to activate differently depending, again, on the level, the frequency of who's receiving them. So I have caught myself thinking this about certain words that, everyone's using that word now, but there's a reason. It's because our consciousness is being activated to the frequency of that word. So have a think about some of these words, and I'd love you to share them below. If you think any of these words come to you that you feel are like they hold a potency, a very potent energy. And it's great to just acknowledge it so that when you're using it, you realize, wow, I'm using a word here that has so many layers and it's going to mean something different to everyone who hears it. But you know that ultimately it holds a very pure sacred geometry that is incredibly activating. Magdalene is another one of those words. There are many. So, what the missing piece that has come in for me this week, I was thinking about my upcoming trip to Egypt. And yesterday when I was walking on the beach, I was thinking, I was contemplating a free offer that I know I'm going to put out when I get back from Egypt, which will be a probably 1.5 to 2 hour event. And I know it's about the throat chakra and some of the goddess temples of Egypt. Until I've been there, I don't know what it's going to be about, to be honest. But I know that there will be 3 temples where I feel a very strong resonance, and where my throat chakra is going to receive a major activation, and I want to bring that through in and share it freely. So it will be a free event that I hold on Zoom. The information will come out in late November once I'm back. But if you do want to know about it, please, if you get onto my newsletter list, the Rose Oracle, the link for that's below, then you'll be notified as soon as that's available. So that was just a little sidetrack, but I was thinking about this on the beach, how I wanted to offer it. And then I suddenly went, hang on, I am sure that the Giza Plateau is considered the throat chakra of the world. Like, it just dropped in. I was like, I'm pretty sure. So I just double checked when I got home. Sure enough, yes. And I thought, oh, no wonder I'm having this calling to speak about the upgraded throat chakra. And I'm having this calling to create this event because I'll be spending time. Our journey starts on the Giza Plateau. We're staying in a hotel by the Giza Plateau, and our journey completes on the Giza Plateau, which is the day that we actually go down into the chambers within the Great Pyramid. And so I thought, oh my gosh, like that can't be more perfect. So that is going to be one powerful event. So I'm looking forward to sharing more about that with you. But I feel like I'm going to have a lot of insight as I am journeying around this higher frequency throat chakra. And if you want to follow my journey while I'm gone, I'm actually not working. It's like the first time I've stopped working. Well, it's the first time I've actually done a trip with someone else since 2006. But it's, I just thought I just want this for me, because even when I'm in Europe, I'm working the whole time. So I'm not going to be working. I may create a YouTube video if I get an opportunity, but I will definitely be posting stuff in my Telegram group. So if you want to join my Lineage of the Rose Telegram group, the link for that is below, because that's where I'll be posting little updates. We had our meeting last week with the group. It's a big group. And Veda Austin, who is one of the hosts of the retreat, is bringing along a really special guest. It's going to be quite amazing. And also with that special guest, they're making a documentary. So there will actually be a film crew there as well. So it's going to be, it's just going to be such a big event. And there's quite a lot of people. I think there's 60 in total, with Veda and the crew and everyone who's there. So it actually is a big group, but all of the power around it is going to be really incredible. So if you want to follow that journey with me, be sure to join my Telegram group and subscribe to this channel as well, because I'd love to do 1 or 2 videos while I'm there, but no pressure on myself. Okay, so that's really they're the seeds I wanted to plant. I'm just tuning in. I think I'm going to channel. I'm going to do a little meditation and then maybe bringing in a channeling. I think it's Nefertiti. Nefertiti, yeah, the Queen of Egypt, who was a high priestess of sacred sound and sacred sexuality. Now, actually something that I know I'm going to experience strongly in Egypt, because Nefertiti has told me this before, the sacred sound she's talking about is not the sacred sound we would consider. That's not like sound you can hear. The sacred sound that she was high priestess of was the sacred sound encoded in the hieroglyphics and within the buildings, the structures themselves. And it's a frequency that you do not hear with your external ears. It's an internal frequency. And that's the sacred sound. So I feel like through some of the hieroglyphs and some of the locations I go to, that is really going to expand significantly in me. So I think Nefertiti will want to say something, since I can feel her presence. So I'm going to guide you through it. It'll just be a short meditation, a quick meditation for your throat chakra. And then let's see if she has a message. So, as long as you're somewhere safe where you can, please close your eyes. And take your focus down to your feet chakras, on the balls of your feet, where you connect in with the beautiful energy of Mother Earth. Feel your roots growing from your feet deep into her. and feel her energy flow up through those roots into your body and up to your throat chakra. Then take a deep breath into your throat chakra. And then breathing out through your throat, straight out all around your throat, send that energy. Next time you breathe in from above, breathe in through your crown, breathe in the energy of the cosmos, down into your throat. And then breathe out through your throat again, 360, sending that energy out 360 degrees. And within your throat chakra, see a rose blossom open. Now this rose is connected with the rose that I use in the Priestess of the Rose Temple training that I hold. And it's called the lapis rose. This is the higher frequency rose of the throat chakra. So feel that lapis rose blossoming open. It's like a light. I don't want you to choke. It's like a light, a lapis blue light in the throat. And it's like the stem of it comes down and anchors in your heart chakra. And this is because it's drawing up the truth of your heart, the essence of you for expression. And as it does that, any old energies that sit between your heart and your throat, things you've swallowed back, creations that were never created because you did not give them expression, words you swallowed, truths that you did not allow out, all of that creates a blockage in this area. So as that stem of the lapis rose moves through into your heart, that moves. This channel opens so that the true essence of you has a direct communion, a direct connection with the throat. And then see that stem go deeper, go down to your sacral chakra, your center of creativity. And it's like its roots plant here. And it draws up all of that beautiful creative energy, the inspiration that moves through you, the creations, it draws it up through the heart, through your true essence, and then blossoms out through your throat. And then bring your focus back to that lapis blue rose. It holds the sacred geometry for your truthful expression, the expression of the true you, the expression of your soul. And it's starting to spin. And as it spins, it's clearing, it's expanding, it's increasing the frequency of your throat. So what is created, what comes out into the world, is in full alignment with the codes of this sacred geometry. It's expressed with power, with sovereignty, in the frequency of the priestess or the priest. Just tune in to that expansion that is happening in your throat. My family of the rose, I come as a being who, when incarnated, held this higher frequency of which Jacqueline speaks. In fact, it becomes a frequency beyond words. And although she has been speaking words to you, it is actually the energy behind those words that creates the alchemy within you. This is how it is for those words of potency. And those words of potency are actually associated with symbols. And many of these symbols you will see in what is considered the writings of ancient Egypt. They are not writings, they are codes. Codes of frequency. Each code reaching a different person differently, depending on where their consciousness sits. So know that when you are hearing or reading words, looking at art, listening to music, or indeed interacting in any way with the creation of another, it is not the tangible thing that you are receiving. It is the frequency and the codes within it. And this will become clearer and clearer as your consciousness continues to expand. I do not wish to put more words to this, since this engages the mind. Instead, I will use light language, simply because you hear the sound, but since you do not understand it, it does not have to go through your mind. It can go straight to your heart, straight to your throat. So absorb this frequency now into these two chakras to assist you in moving into alignment with the new throat chakra. Ren li ren la ren doso ren le ren akaran huki ren li ren akoya iko ren le akan kiran le akan ho ren ne poa hukira Kuraneta. And as Nefertiti moves away, keep your focus in your throat, in the lapis rose. And take one more deep breath into it, breathing into the throat, down to your heart, down to your sacral chakra. Feel them all activated in resonance with your throat, and then breathe out that same pathway. If you feel to and you're in a space that you can, you may choose to make a sound out of your throat to anchor in this frequency. And when you are ready, begin to return into your body by moving your body. Holding your body, stroking your body, loving your body, your beautiful chalice. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Come back into our space. Nefertiti also gave you a little sample of what we cover in my Priestess of the Rose Temple 3-month initiation journey, which begins in January because she and the lapis blue rose do the throat chakra initiation. But we do 90 minutes of that, so it's a bigger one. And you get an individual activation. But if you're interested in knowing more about that, I'll pop that link below as well, because there is an early bird until November 30th. Thank you for being part of this. I'm so glad to have finally created this video on the upgraded throat chakra, or the new throat chakra, as Nefertiti called it. So I hope to get another video to you before I journey, but I do have a full couple of weeks, so we'll see how we go. Thank you for joining me. Rose blessings to you.